Since last episode, I have picked up another Dortmund youngster. I feel like we're hoarding them in at this point in time, but Kabar is the latest of the recruits to join us, 18 years old, bags of potential, £1.8 million spent. Have I signed him partially because his picture has him wearing a headband? Maybe that was a factor. However, it does make for rather amusing viewing when you consider the fact we've now spent £10 million on Dortmund youngsters over the course this summer. We really are trying to build for the future here. Now, one thing I didn't talk about last episode is that in the Bundesliga Under-19 Nord, we actually won the league last year. Right now, we're not winning. We are unbeaten, though. We currently trail Leipzig, but the youth team are doing very, very well. As for the B team, they're winning every single friendly they're playing, except the one against the first team. And, well, I don't know if you can tell what I'm doing here. Trying to delay discussing the first team, where it's not been a particularly fantastic start to the season. Yesterday, we lost our opening away and home game of the season, but we are back now, sitting in 10th place. 8 games played, is very tight in the league, and given our recent uptick in form, I want to believe our opening opposition in Hamburg are going to be a beatable team. And after that, the very small matter of Europa League football, where today we take on Rosenborg. We have won against Villarreal. We have lost against Malmo. This is how the group looks. We really need to win both games on the road today. Welcome back to Build in Berlin. Let's run the intro and get into things, shall we? Yes, folks, a warm welcome back. Today it's Wednesday for you, but as I sit here and record the video, it's Tuesday, because that's how time works. These videos are recorded the afternoon before they go up the following day. I do want to just kick things off with a bit of a thank you. Yesterday was the most viewed day of the YouTube channel so far in 2023. Not a common occurrence around the end of July for that to happen for a channel primarily around Football Manager. So if you enjoyed the transfer special on Monday, if you've been enjoying the F1 Manager videos, thank you, I salute you. The support has been rather mind-blowing. Now, let's go to something slightly more negative. Form. Last episode, we lost 2 games 1-0. 2 games that, on another day, maybe we win, but 2 games where if you don't score, you're not going to win. And as you can see here, it didn't get better right away. Against Borussia Mönchengladbach, we lost 3-1. Away from home, Tillman got a goal. It wasn't enough. And then we were taking on Hertha Berlin, our local rivals, a team who were actually top of the league when we took them on. They were newly promoted. In this game here, a draw looks like a great result, considering we were at the bottom of the table and they were at the top. But when you look at the XG, when you look at the possession, when you look at the way this game actually played out, this was 2 points dropped. On another day, we get something here. I was hoping that after that draw, we were going to be able to build upon it. Didn't exactly happen. Against Malmo, opening game of the Europa League at home. Again, we really need to win if we want to make out the group stage. They won 1-0. This game was not exactly a classic. In the end, the solitary goal, a moment of magic of sorts. And Anassi pulls the trigger from range, smashes into the bottom corner. I'm not sure if Heydel can take any of the blame there, but yeah, this was not a good start to our Europa League campaign. However, off the back of that result, we have finally found our groove. A win against Cologne, 2-1 here. Tillman and Nemetja with the goals. Nemetja scoring again as we beat Dortmund. This was a good result. At home against Dortmund, we scored. Zakharyan, you might have noticed here, got an injury. Good news. Wasn't a serious injury. That was a heart-in-mouth moment there. After that, a draw against Mainz was somewhat disappointing, but we followed it up with a terrific result away from home against Villarreal. Alex Scott playing out on the right-hand side in a new role for him as an advanced playmaker. He ran the show, got a goal and an assist. We've been constantly tweaking and changing things this season. You might notice at centre-back, a new partnership. We'll talk about that in a mo, but in this game here, we got a much-needed win. Most recently, we got a 2-0 win as well against Werder Bremen. Forsby and Kraus with the goals here, and with that all said and done, and with, well, a second clean sheet in 4 games, we are now up to 10th in the league, which isn't exactly where we want to be, but let's try and find some positives. We're keeping some clean sheets. Zakharyan has 3 assists to his name, so the wildcard signing for this year is doing okay, and there has been an improvement of form lately, partially, I think, down to some of the changes you can see here. We've been mixing and matching some roles a little bit. We now have a centre mid on attack playing on the right-hand side of the 2-man midfield, with Alex Scott now playing as an advanced playmaker in that wide area. In recent games, he has been playing significantly better with this change in role. Elsewhere in the team, Wiedreago has been playing a box-to-box midfielder, and I mean, look at this development, folks. This man is 18 years old. In real life, he's just starting to break into the Schalke first team. I think we've got a potential wonder kid of the future here, to the point where I feel like he now just has to be a mainstay of the first team. He has only been here a couple of months, and as you can see, in the time he's been here, I mean, the development's been absolutely insane. Mention the centre-back scenario as well. At centre-back to start the season, we were playing Florian Flick alongside Heinz. And whilst we weren't conceding a load of goals, our centre-backs weren't putting in particularly good ratings. So, decided to turn to the youngsters. Martel, who of course we did pick up for a significant sum of money in the summer. £11.25 million he cost us. So far, so okay. I want to say good, but 6.78 rating isn't exactly great, but it is an improvement on what the other centre-backs were putting in. Arian B has been playing alongside him at left centre-back. And I mean, these two players in their early 20s, players who I didn't really plan on having near the first team, but since they've come into the fray, we've started winning. I don't really want to change something that's working now. So both of today's games are away from home. Keen to keep this uptick in momentum going, but conscious of the fact our away form has been a little lacklustre to the start of the season. As well as that, I feel like I owe you an away day, which is another reason to do this Hamburg game today, as we are heading to the Volkspark Stadion, which holds 57,000 fans. I didn't realise Hamburg had such a big ground. For a team that have been stuck in the second tier of Germany for a while, I mean, it looks impressive from the picture. Shall we go and see if it's impressive in real life? I want to go find out. Let's go have a look together, shall we? It feels like it's been way too long since the last away day, and I guess it has been too long. But today we are heading northwest to Hamburg and, well, to the football team, which I'm going to hope is painted somewhere on the map here. They've got a zoo, they've got a trampoline park, they've got an airport. Where is the football stadium? I thought that if I went on satellite view, stadiums would stand out. Yeah, a stadium did stand out. Unfortunately, it's FC Pauli's team stadium. So, yeah, this is not where we're going today. Maybe in a future episode. Okay, I have found the Volkspark Stadium. Looks impressive from above. First thing that's caught my eye, car parking. I maintain it. So far, Germany eclipses England for car parking on away days. Around the stadium, we've got a whole load of football pitches as well. Outdoor swimming pool, is that? Or is it a basketball court? I think it's a basketball court. Over on this side, not really part of the away day, we have got a high street with some stores and stuff. Up here, more car parking and the Barclays Arena, which I'm going to assume is some kind of music venue. Can we have a look inside the Barclays Arena? We can have a look inside the Barclays Arena. Maybe they play basketball here as well. I don't know. Maybe Hamburg's a very basketball place. Or maybe it's just a music venue. That is also possible. Maybe if I go to one of these thousands of dots, eventually I'll find a game of basketball being played. Or something. Or is it ice hockey? It could be ice hockey. The plot thickens. At this point, I feel compelled to repeatedly just drag dots here to find out what the true purpose of the Barclays Arena is. Like, what sport is being played here? It's probably too small for ice hockey, actually. It's definitely too small for ice hockey. If I keep dragging the person onto the dots, eventually, maybe we find out the truth. But I feel like I could have just Googled it at this point, couldn't I, really? As for the football stadium, first things first, I found out there is a track around the edge that we can follow on Google Street View, which, of course, we absolutely have to do. This is from 2010. It doesn't look like a stadium that has changed much in the last 10 years, or rather, this picture here matches the picture in my stadium pack. Initial impressions: big stadium, impressive stadium, like the fact there is the standing up area, presumably for ultras, behind the goal, but it's going to fall victim of the symmetrical curse, isn't it, here? It does lack a little bit of character, but good seat art. So you've got that going for your Hamburg. Also, is it said Hamburg or hamburger? It can't be said hamburger. I've gone into the stadium. Apparently, the Dortmund fans who came for this game here, they were flashbanged pre-game, which, I mean, that feels like a radical step to kind of counteract the effectiveness of the away fans. Here's a slightly newer picture of the stadium. The stadium itself, it's a nice stadium. It's pretty. I like the lighting around the top, but it is just one of those stadiums where I look in one kind of corner and I feel like I've then seen the whole stadium. There's nothing really standing out. I hope that maybe if I looked in the boxes, there'd be something going on here, but it's just annoying reflections, although not sure about the interior decor of this particular booth. TV Digital, step up your decor game. Just realised, not actually seeing what the stadium looks like from the outside. There's not a load of access points to view it from the outside. Let's go over here and have a peek. Is it more impressive? There's the Barclays Arena. That's the wrong place. Here's the actual stadium, which, I mean, I'll tell you what, it looks like an absolute monster of a stadium from the outside. I appreciate the stairs where they tell you that this is the Nord stand you're walking up to, so you're not going to get lost as you approach the away day in terms of which stand you're arriving at. I mean, it looks gargantuan. It looks like just very almost steampunky with all the cables and exposed metal and just weird shape stuff going on. It's unique if nothing else. I wanted to have a look at the car park as part of the away day. Why are we upside down? Here's a better look at the car park. I mean, they've even got football concrete barriers. They've kept the theme going. I respect them for that. That's a first for an away day. Here's another look at the stadium, which I'm going to tell you, from the outside, I really, really like the look of. It's a shame that it's not that impressive on the inside, because this just looks cool. It looks so cool, in fact. I think it's one of those stadiums that's worth doing a dramatic zoom in on Google Earth. Oh my word, I feel like I'm in the intro of a Call of Duty 4 mission. Here we are. Here's the stadium. Like I said, from the inside, it's boring. From the outside, it does look very, very cool, doesn't it? I mean, look at it. Look at it. It just looks crazy. I'm a fan. It's unique, if nothing else. That does bring us on to the critical part of all of this, giving it a rating. Very, very good car park. Love the stadium on the outside. Limited footage on the inside. I'm going to give the Volkspark Stadion a respectable 7 out of 10. Not a classic, not one that will necessarily live long in the memory, but I did enjoy my stay. Anyway, with one away day under our belt, we do need to play some Football Manager, and I'm hoping we're going to play some better football than we saw last episode. Well, last episode, we didn't score a single goal. I did already talk a little bit about some of the role changes we've had in the midfield. I'm not looking to overhaul things too much, but one thing I have ended up changing is our defensive setup a little bit. We were sitting deep with a low block and really trying to absorb pressure, and it was just limiting our opportunities to actually get the ball forward. So we're playing a higher defensive line and a mid-block in terms of line of engagement, really to try and compact the area of the pitch to play in when teams get beyond kind of our initial press. I'm hoping it's going to continue to work as it has done as of late. In terms of the rest of the instructions, I opted to add work ball into the box as an instruction. You know, we're a bit more patient in the final third. We hold on to the play a little bit more, allows players like Zakharyan, Nemetcha, even Wiedreago to get forward into the box, and of course the wing backs to get forward in support. Those little tweaks and changes, they've returned, well, some good results. Need more of it now. Here is Hamburg's team. They are playing a 4-3-3. They have been in some okay form recently. They're only 1 point behind us in the league, but it is still very, very early days in the season. Of course, we are matching them. Zakharyan on the left, Scott on the right. I did see a fair few YouTube comments on the previous video about maybe going to a more narrow system after a disappointing start to the season. Of course, if you remember, at the very start of this safe game, we started with a narrow formation and it really, really didn't work for us. And whilst this system hasn't been perfect to start the year, I do know that at least what this system started as can work. I'm going to hope it can continue to work as it has been here. Ball whipped in, Kraus is at the back post, it's cleared away, but Arian B to Wiedreago, who hits it. And, I mean, we've scored a goal. We've scored a goal in an episode. I think it's deflected and got in the back of the net. I'm not going to complain. Not 100% sure. That might be Wiedreago's first ever Bundesliga goal. He picks up the ball at the edge of the box off Arian B. He pulls the trigger, and yeah, that has hit the defender on the back and gone in. You know what? It doesn't matter how it's gone in. It's sensational for the 18-year-old. It's a screamer from 30 yards. That might be a fake headline. I'm not sure the press can run with that, but I'm going to claim it was a screamer from 30 yards. We might have another chance here, mind you. Ball whipped in. Nemetcha nods it down to Zakharyan, turns his man, pulls the trigger. Union Berlin are back. Zakharyan has not been great to start the season, but he has got 3 assists in the league. As of late, he has started to pick up the slack a little bit. Maybe a little bit of an adapting period to a new country, to a new league. Great to see him score here. Oh my word. Last episode was awful for the matches. Suddenly, I'm very giddy and excited to watch us play. As I have been actually in the last couple of games, we definitely have stepped up our level of performance. There's a confidence and swagger that we're playing with, and we're seeing more of it here as the ball's dinked forward. Tillman, he's through. He's hit it. That would have counted if it had gone in. I was waiting for the flag to go up for offside. It wasn't raised. Maybe a chance squandered. Zakharyan is a set-piece wizard. Can he make something happen here? Is he magical? Not on this occasion. Talked about the young centre-back setup. MB, 7.2 rating. Martel, 7.0 rating. They are playing very, very well at the back for us. And to be honest, looking at the stats, the defence are doing all the work. Hadel, maybe a little questionable in last episode. So far, he's not had a save to make. I'm always scared in this situation to praise the players, so I'm just going to tell them it's far from acceptable, then tell the two players who have played well that they've done brilliantly and I'm happy with them to motivate them. Look at that. Alex Scott's now furious. Alex, what? You're playing well too, mate. There you go. He was getting jealous that other people were being shown attention, bless him. He is the jealous type, is Alex Scott. I like the fact I've told him he's playing well. He's on a 6.8 rating. Compared to everyone else in our team, he's not been great. But then again, this hasn't been a game where we've needed everyone to pull their weight. This has been a game where we've partially turned up. I'd take it all back. He's the best player in our team, Alex Scott. Always rated him. Great lad. Of course, last episode, he was playing as that inverted winger, and it wasn't working great. But actually, the advanced playmaker in the wide area, it's not a role I've dabbled with a lot in that specific position. He gets into good areas like that, and on this occasion, he's finished into the bottom corner. 3-0 up, we've got a game midweek in the Europa League. I feel like this is a chance to make some changes. Alex Scott, you can come off. We're going to bring in Draxler on the right, and Gankham, by the way, back from injury. Let's get him back in the team. This is going to be his second appearance on off the bench as we look to get him back to match fitness. Wingbacks haven't been great in this game either, so I'm going to bring in Templeman, and I'm going to bring in Addons at left back. Just getting some fresh legs in. I feel like the wing-back area with Roussillon and Da Costa, it's one of these areas where we don't have as good a depth, and they are two players who are at 31 years old each. Probably do need to be managed a little bit more. There's a chance to manage it here. It's 4-0. We're brilliant. We're brilliant. Draxler's just scored a banger. That might be goal of the season. Julian Draxler was not meant to be this signing. We signed him as this stopgap option last year. I gave him an optional contract extension if he played a certain number of games. Suddenly, he's like our little super sub. I mean, that's ridiculous from the number 7. Crazy goal, 4-0. This game is over. I say it's over. There could be more. There's another highlight. We're away from home winning 4-0. After our start to the season, this is mad. And whilst Hamburg are newly promoted, you know, they have got wins this year. It's not like they're in the relegation zone. They're only 2 places behind us. They're 1 point behind us. But in this game here, there's just this crazy gap in terms of the quality. We're knocking the ball around so nicely as well. I think we have seen a bit of that work the ball into box instruction coming into its own as well in this game here. I mean, looking at this, I big us up and then we give the ball away. We get, let's not concede. Great save, Hadel. There we go. First stop of the game, I think, for him. Is that his first touch? I mean, it's not even counted as a shot on target. Now it has. That was his first save of the game. One last sub. Kraus is going to come off. You might have noticed I have been rotating things a little when it comes to the defensive mids. Thorsby not available for this game. Kraus has been playing there. But to be honest, Kraus has been playing at defensive mid more than I'd like to admit lately. But, I mean, can you blame me? Look at the performance. Look how well we've done here. 4-0 it finishes. One of those games where it felt like every significant chance we had ended up in the back of the net. That's not necessarily a bad thing, though. I'm desperately going to hope that a bit of morale now, you know, a few wins on the bounce is going to just allow us to continue this ascent up the league. We are suddenly up to 7th place. That is where we finished last season. And, well, with 14 points in 9 games, considering we had 0 points after 2 games, I'm feeling kind of good about things. Now, you can see here, looking at the calendar, Rosenborg are bottom of our group in the Europa League, but they have managed to get a point already, so we have to be wary of them. Zach Haryan, man of the match, give him some praise. We have got 5 days, so I think we'll rest up the players and hopefully have a close to full strength team for this Group G game. Now, there won't be an away day for Rosenborg because I've already done the Lerkendal Stadium, but it's a stadium that has a Domino's pizza attached to it. So I can't wait. It's amazing how, thanks to away days, I have this niche knowledge. I mean, I know that a random football stadium in Norway has a Domino's pizza attached. I don't know why I remember that, but I do. I feel like that says a lot about how my brain works. Anyway, that game is 5 days away. We're going to rest up. We're heading to Lerkendal. Let's make it 2 wins in a row to make up for yesterday's disaster. Okay, guys, game number 2, Rosenborg. Done the away day before. We've been here, got the postcard, gave the stadium a score. Now, let's try and get another 3 points here. Now, in terms of team news, a little bit of rotation for this game. Drago is going to start on the bench, not for any footballing reason, mostly because I lack any kind of depth in the final third. Just as a reminder, we have 0 homegrown at club players here at Union Berlin. It means that I can only register a squad of 21 players for European competitions. And unfortunately, with Jamie Llewellyn injured and Gankham, who was injured for the first 2 games, not being registered, it leaves us in a situation where if I want to make some attacking changes, if Drago was starting over Kraus or Thorsby, Julian Draxler would literally be the only attacking player that we can bring on to change games, which I don't really like as a situation. With that in mind, by starting Forsby at defensive midfielder, where he has been playing for us on the regular, and Kraus at box-to-box midfielder, which is a role he can do, it at least gives us a little bit more in the way of options to alter the game on off the bench. Of course, when it comes to these players in the final third, they're very versatile with their positions. They can fill in for one another. But on the flip side, there's games like this where we might need fresh legs off the bench. We just don't have them due to the restrictions we're under, which I'm hoping one day we can solve. Of course, it takes 3 years for a player to get homegrown at clubs, so it's not going to be sorted anytime in the immediate future. So Rosenborg here, not a bad team by any means, but a team which, at least when you compare us to them on paper, I feel like we should be edging out. Whether or not we're going to be able to do that remains to be seen. I thought we would do well against Malmo, but maybe we just struggle against all the Nordic football clubs. Maybe there's some kind of curse going on. We've got a set piece here. Zakhayan's going to whip in. Back post. Nemec's there. And, well, it's not a pretty way to take the lead, but I'm not going to complain about it one little bit. Zakhayan's corners taken, I think, is a 13 or 14. It's not anything too special, but it's the best that we've got. And, well, it's proving to be a vital little weapon in our arsenal, as for, I think, the 4th time this season, he's going to pick up an assist. 10 minutes left of the half. Nemec with a free kick deep for us. He's going to dink it towards Martel. He has a looping header. And, well, in a first half that's really lacks any quality or highlights. It's 2 set pieces that have been the 2 highlights we've seen thus far, although that might be about to change here. Roussillon, the Frenchman, to Zakhayan. Can he make something magical happen? He's going to cut inside, and I thought for a moment he was going to make magic happen. Sadly, that finish, not ideal. I thought we were about to get in at half-time at 1-0 up. There might be one last highlight here as Kornic has the ball. He's going to whip it towards Noah, and Noah Jean-Home, who I believe is a rather tall player, he's scored a header. I mean, he looks big in the match engine, doesn't he? We've played amazing in that first half without being super clinical. They've had their first shot on target, and it's resulted in a goal. Defended so well, and then that's how they do us. And if you're wondering, is he tall? He's actually not that tall, but he's got good jumping reach and physicality. He's very much a target man forward. He's done us there, hasn't he? I think at half-time, we are going to have to just get a little bit shouty with the players. Demand more. I don't want to change things too radically here. I mean, heck, even if I wanted to change them radically, we can't. We don't have that many options on off the bench to change the game in a more attacking sense. Although with Drago and Draxler, 2 players who definitely can contribute. Zakhayan going in for a slide tackle. Surely he's not going to go in for another. He looks hungry for the ball. He's hunting it down. Rosenborg looking to play the ball out the back here. Anderson with a little space. He's going to put it down the line to Forhaldsen, who's going to lay it back to Anderson. All the Suns are on the ball. Don't let them get it any further forward. Tagzef pulls the trigger. I can't believe the game's shown that as a highlight. It just wanted to mess with me. Okay, we've been the better team here, but away from home, I do feel like we've got to alter things slightly. Aiden is going to come in for Da Costa, who's not been great. Elsewhere, I'm going to move Arian B to left back, and I'm actually going to bring in Heinz at centre back. Tillman's not having the best of games at striker, so I'm going to make a change here. That change is to bring in Wiedrea to play at centre mid on attack, and Nemec, he is going to play as the advance forward for us. Is it a perfect fit for him, this role? Absolutely not. But he's already scored 1 in this game, albeit from a set piece. And maybe he's got his nose in for goals or something. I don't know. He's lined up his sights. He's warmed up. He's ready to put the ball in the back of the net again. That's what I'm getting at. Kornic with a throw-in on the far side. It was his throw-in that led to their goal at the end of that half. On this occasion, though, we've come away with the ball. Nemec dispossessed, but we're still in a fairly dangerous area, pressing high up the pitch. Rosenborg forced to go long. They give us possession. Arian B, sliding in at left wing back, was playing centre back. He's going to try and get the ball forward. Doesn't get it in initially, but wins a really nice header there that allows us to maintain possession. And now Forsby to Scott. Aiden, Wiedrea on off the bench. Oh my word, that is a ridiculous finish. I'm going to be livid if it's offside, because that is, I mean, it's mad by the sub. Aiden at right back, coming in as a bit of a super sub option for us, lays it inside, and I'll tell you what, the goal is going to count. I was a little bit worried there. The pop-up didn't appear, but I can confirm it is 2-1. Wiedrea centre mid on attack, doing those runs that I mentioned earlier, which I think work nicely with the advanced playmaker and the wing back on the right-hand side. The advanced forward, plays a more supportive role. He drops in the centre attacking mid on attack. He can attack into those areas. And with a finish like that, I mean, he's done exactly the thing that I wanted him to do on off the bench. That is the reason that I dropped him for this game. Whether or not if I'd started the game he would have done that, we'll never know. But now that we've got our noses ahead, I'm trying not to get too carried away here because there is still football to be played. Zakharyan is going to get it forward. Nemetcha, has he got his nose in for the goals? He has. The keeper is shocking there. I'm not going to complain. This is 3-1. Hopefully that's going to make it 2 wins in 2 today. Ball being worked around, a little bit more patience in our play, but Kraus to Zakharyan. He just picks out a pass from range. Nemetcha, not the most convincing of finishes, but the goalkeeper didn't cover himself in glory. We get a third goal. This is more like it today. With 5 minutes left this game, I'm going to make a couple of changes. Alex Scott off for Draxler. Elsewhere, Templeman, he can come in for Forsby. 5 subs made. That is all the subs done. This game should be finished. 4 minutes of added time. Get me out this game. Let's get another 3 points on the board. I was nervous after we lost to Malmo in our opening Europa League game, especially after the disappointment in Europe last season. But this result here, partnered with the win against Villarreal, puts us in a really good spot to hopefully make it into the knockout stages. Felix Nemetcha, probably the best performance he's put in so far for us. A player who's not exactly hit the ground running, but a player who has a lot of ability, which I'm hoping we're going to be able to tap into. Got to remember, we only picked him up for £5 million. Maybe today can be a bit of a turning point in his season. And well, maybe this result today can be a bit of a turning point in our season. After the disappointment of last episode, couple of little tweaks to the formation, little changes to just get the most out of our players, appear to be paying dividends. I mean, a win in the Europa League puts us top of the group in the Bundesliga. We're in 8th now that everyone's played the same number of games, but we are very much within touching distance of the European spots, which is exactly where we want to be. Also, Hertha Berlin are still in 2nd. That's annoying. If this is the 1 year where Bayern Munich slip up and we're not near the top, I will be livid. Anyway, folks, I do hope you guys enjoyed today's video today. Nice to get 2 good results after the disappointment that was yesterday. Hopefully, when we return next time, momentum is going to be going similarly in our favour. Until tomorrow, until next time, take things easy. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. I'm out.